The advice I would give someone considering taking their own life or in a really dark spot is you don't know how much good you're doing in the world. You might be in a bad spot, but you can do so much more good here.
I'm Natalie Teichert. We're in Mackay, Idaho, and this is my husband, Seth.
I'm Seth Teichert.
So I grew up about 5 miles outside of Rigby, and we had cattle ranch behind us, a sheep farm next to us, a goat farm across the street, and I thought it was very rural until I met Seth and he took me here. I am one of 8 kids, and my dad owned his own barbershop in Rigby, and he was also a volunteer firefighter, and it was a really good place to grow up. And now I have 4 sisters and 3 brothers.
Oh, we moved around quite a bit. Originally Cokeville, Wyoming and Spanish Fork, Utah. We had 2 ranches, and we'd winter in Utah and summer in Wyoming and back and forth. So we moved all the time, and when I was 11 we left there. Went to California for 3 years. My dad managed a ranch out there, and then ended up in Ruby Valley, Nevada, Elko County. We were around there. That's kind of where I call home and where I grew up, where I went to high school and all those kind of things. I'm 5th generation cattle rancher.
When we moved to Nevada, his parents lived there still, and we moved into an apartment complex, and our next door neighbors were his 2 sisters. So being around family is really important to us. That was a big reason why we moved here, because they left as soon as we got to Nevada, and as they started ranching here, and they said, we need some help, and they offered it to his brother, and he said, no, I'm going to go a different direction, and he became a pilot. And Seth said, okay, I think we'll try it so we can raise our kids next to their grandparents, and that has been such a good decision. Everything was going really smoothly. So Seth's sister Tessa, she's the same age as I am. In fact, she was living with him when we started dating, and so I got to know her pretty well. And she'd had some hard things happen and got divorced really young, had a very quick marriage, and that wasn't easy for her. And like I said, we lived next to her in Elko, and we saw that things weren't going very well in her life. But things are going really well for her at this time, and she had recently got married. She was like, things were going well, we thought. We'd seen her the week before she came up for Easter, and
yeah, she came up. Sorry, I didn't want to.
We knew she'd had struggles previously with mental health, but at this point in her life, we thought that things were okay.
She got into alcohol, and it took her over the first drink. That's in our family. A lot of alcoholism in the past, and we know that if we touch it, we're probably addicted. And it did, and she never could beat that demon, and that's eventually what caused it. I think was when she lived with me, she just tell me, she says, I can't quit, I want to so bad, and I just can't. She says it's awful, and we all tried to help her, but we don't know how to get help oftentimes, or how bad it is. We don't know.
So just like all of Seth's family, she was just laughing. I mean, she would fake it, and she'd make a joke about everything. And she'd got a DUI, and she had to go dry out in the jail, I guess, for a little bit. And she kept a little journal that she wrote some notes about that, about how helpful it was for her. Because she said, I want to change. I do not want to make this my life. I want to make things differently. And for a little bit, she was able to, but it came back for. And, you know, we didn't feel like it's our place to tell her what she can do and can't do, because you really can't. You can't tell people what to do. And so we would just love her through it, and she would joke about it, and she would never take it very seriously in front of any of us.
That's what happened, but yeah, we got that call. It was middle of the night. My dad called me and said Tessa had taken her own life, and that was tragic. That was really hard. We were really close with her, and who knows why she did, but I would assume she just thought there was no way out. She can't beat alcohol, and why keep trying? And so I think that's kind of the route she went down was no use trying anymore, is the way I would imagine. There's no way to know, and we'll probably never know.
She was the best aunt that you would ever see. We had 2 little kids, and Seth's brother had a little kid, and she just loved those. She loved them better than we loved them. She was honestly a better mother than I was. She took such good care of them, and she was really close to them. And our oldest, she was only 5, and she still has the best memories of her aunt because she was so good to her. She would go to Twin Falls, spend the night. Every time Tessa showed up, she'd have presents and coloring and all these fun things. She would write her letters and draw her pictures, and it was a really special relationship between those 2. And that's the thing that right now, I know you didn't ask that, but that's the thing right now that we miss the most, is the relationship that she could have had all these years with her.
Yeah, been an aunt to all these other nieces and nephews that weren't born at that time, but yeah, she was a ton of fun, and it didn't seem like those issues were there. She still had an alcohol problem, but it seemed like it was better than it was. She was just cleaning up her life and getting in a better spot, and really, I don't think any of us expected it at that point. We thought we were through all that.
I think that especially Tessa's so kind-hearted, so good, really, really thought a lot about her family. Yeah, she took her pain that she had, and unintentionally she transferred it to her family, and it's much worse for us now. And she would never have wanted that. So, I know that she has regrets. I know, I just know this. I know that she wishes she hadn't done this.
If you've gone through this and you just shut down. It's such a shock to your system. It's such a blow, I guess, that you can't even hardly function. You don't want to eat. The food that came in was unbelievable. So much food and so much help and just faith. We very much believe that she's still living, not on this earth, but she's still alive, and that brings a lot of comfort and faith, and hope to us that we'll see her again someday. My brother also passed away just recently in June of 2024 in a crop dusting accident, and so it's been less than a year since we've lost him, and he left a wife and 4 kids, and that's been difficult also. That's a tough one.
He would make us laugh all the time. It is a family trait. They are just all fun-loving people. And Sage was also there living with Seth when he and I started dating. Sage and Tessa were both right there. And so I met them when I met him. And he's such a good guy. Such a good dad, such a good brother.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun. 2 years younger than me, and then my other brother's 12 years younger than me, but my brothers were my best friends. That's just the way it's always been. We've always got along well, and Sage, he loved to fly. He loved airplanes. He didn't so much want a ranch. He grew up doing it, but the airplanes was his thing, and so he did that. He liked mechanical things. He liked all that kind of stuff. He could do anything. He liked to build, and so
he was a heck of a trick roper.
Trick roper, yeah. He was fun. He was a lot of fun, and so yeah, we had a good relationship, and he lived close. He was only a couple hours away, and so we got to see him and his family quite a bit. The neighbors, when it happened and they found out, of course this time of year is extremely busy for us. We're getting ready to turn cows out on the mountain and trying to get our farming done, and there's so many things going, and the neighbors just, I remember one guy, he pulled up, I was just going to feed cows, I'm sitting in the tractor, and he says, "Get out of the tractor, I'm going to feed your cows for you." The other neighbors, they just jumped in and did our work for us and rallied behind us and helped that way.
When they lost their family members, they immediately just wanted to be with each other, and they'd call each other and come and visit way more often. They're good without, they're all very independent. They can all take care of themselves. But when these tragedies happened, they definitely came together in a way that helped them deal with the crisis that's happening.
ranching world, we gotta be tough. We suck it up. You got hurt, broke your arm, keep working, whatever it is. And I think, at least from my perspective, if you talk about, you know what, I'm struggling mentally, that's showing a weakness that you don't want to show in the ranching world. That's my perspective. It would be very hard for me to go to somebody and say, I'm coming apart right now. And so, but I think it is okay to do that. In fact, it's probably good to do that, because I put myself in the other shoes. If one of my neighbors or friends or family came to me and said, I'm coming apart right now, I'm mentally not making it, I wouldn't look down on them one bit. I would want to help them and support them and find ways to get help, which I would hope that there's methods or ways that can get spread to the ranching and farming communities of how to get help.
I know we don't want to minimize anyone's pain, because the thing that I think that we've learned the most with losing Tessa is how much mental health, how important it is, how it affects you, and how it can just take you over. And it's real. Depression, anxiety, alcoholism, it's real. And knowing that has given us a lot more empathy for people that are suffering. But there is a way forward, we know it.
It's not going to solve or fix the problem, taking your own life. We want you here, we need you here. There's just a gaping hole in our family from losing her as a sister, as a daughter, as an aunt. Just so much good with her. And so that would be my deal, is no matter how dark it seems right now and how hopeless it seems, you're needed and you're wanted. And even if you don't have a family, you can bless lives, you can do so much good in the world with anybody you come in contact with, and we don't want to lose that. We don't want you gone. We need you here.